All right, we are prepared to interview Gwen Azama-Edwards whenever she gets ready. By the way, the Holly Hill change from chloramines to chlorine, free chlorine, says people using dialysis treatment should contact their physicians. Tropical fish owners should contact their pet supply. Customers may notice a change in the taste and or odor of the water due to the free chlorine. Anything would be better than the odor we got now from the chloramines. Okay, if you pull up my gun, Ms. Edwards, then we can talk.
Yes, sir, and I should know that, shouldn't I?
Well, I did the last one to criticize you. Gwen Azama-Edwards here. She's running for mayor of the city of Daytona Beach, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, the first thing we always have to say is people don't know you as well as I do, so why don't you tell them about your background, your work history, you know, if you're currently involved, current husband, things like that.
Okay.
And kids and all that.
Gwen Azama-Edwards. I'm married to Reverend Larry T. Edwards, former police chaplain with the city of Daytona Beach, currently works for the state attorney's office. I have two grown sons. Curtis Azama, who is a CPA in West Palm Beach. He's also an entrepreneur in a couple of other different things that he does. He's someone who loves to keep his hands busy and his mind busy. My younger son, and he's a Florida State graduate. My younger son is Anthony. He's in Ohio. He works for Miami, Ohio, a marketing and promotions manager, a director for the athletics department up there. And
That's University of Miami?
Yes,
Ohio?
University of Miami in Ohio, yes. Both doing very well. Not married yet, no grandkids, so I'm, you know, still hopeful. God has promised, so I hold him to that. I am a lifetime resident of Volusia County. I was born in Orange City, Florida, the place that used to have the freshest water in the world. Not now, but it used to. My mom and dad are deceased, unfortunately. I am a graduate of Stetson University. I have a Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology, Master of Arts degree in guidance and counseling from Stetson University in DeLand, Florida. I was manager of the job service offices in Volusia and Flagler County, and really worked my way up from being the employment interviewer and then employment counselor, counseling supervisor, and then the office manager. And then I became manager of a region, a 9-county region, which included the counties west of Orlando, but also Orange County, Brevard County, Osceola County, Seminole County, everything but this side of Volusia County. After being a regional manager for 2 years, then city manager Howard Tipton, who I had worked with when I was a job service manager during a holiday season, and we worked out very well together and trying to do some community service for the young women's CWCA in Daytona Beach, and he was very impressed, so he contacted me when they had a vacancy for city clerk, asked if I was interested, and I said yes, because I wanted to get back into this area. I was coming back and forth, get off the road, and agreed to become the city clerk and an assistant to the city manager. So I was the city clerk, assistant to the city manager for 15 years. And
how long were you in the job service?
Job service 16 years.
So you got 31 years?
Yes, yes. Manager, as I said, worked my way up, but manager, ended as a regional manager with that. 16 years with that, 15 years with the city, city clerk, assistant to the city manager. So 31 years in the state retirement system, retired, and then ran for office. And I was fortunate enough to win as city commissioner Zone 4 with 1 vote. So you know that every vote counts. Every vote counts. But I did win with 1 vote, and I became the first female, the first African-American commissioner for Zone 4, and served them well. They were all very, very happy and satisfied based on the things that I was able to accomplish while city commissioner. And after that, of course, I ran for mayor. The plans always were to be run for city commissioner, and then after doing that, to run for mayor. And I ran for mayor the first time, came in 3rd place, second time came in 2nd place, and the plan is to become the new mayor of the city of Daytona Beach August 14th, 2012. So my experience is vast. Of the candidates running, I'm the only one who actually has hands-on experience in municipal government, hands-on in terms of having been a staff member, but also I think big in terms of the 3 levels of government as it concerns the citizens. I've been and am a citizen. I've also been a staff person and an elected official, and those are really 3 different viewpoints that are usually tied to government. So I do have the benefit of having all 3, and would utilize that in the mayoral position.
Let's make
You
sure.
know, I should mention too that in terms of being a citizen, in terms of working really in the community, as you know, like you, I've been very much involved in the community and working with a lot of community organizations, those that work with youth, as with the Guardian Ad Litem program, those that work with senior citizens, as with Council on Aging. I am a Guardian Ad Litem. I was president of the Council on Aging. Those that work with not only the youth and the elderly, but also work with families, and I serve on the Healthy Families Board as well. I've served on many boards, chaired a lot of boards, including United Way and Crime Stoppers, and I'm just very much interested in just making this city the best that it can be.
I think I need to do a disclaimer because, as I think you know, I'm pretty sure you know, and most people know, I think the city of Daytona Beach is in very bad straits. And so that may come out in the conversation today, you know, in terms of the question.
And the other thing we should mention, of course, is that I'm also a radio talk show host.
Okay.
My show is here on WELE 1380 AM on your radio dial, and it's called Truth. And the show is on Thursday nights. I have a good friend who co-hosts with me, Betty Rowe, who has been doing the show periodically when I've been.
Master.
Yeah, she's Master Betty. She is a master feng shui consultant, and she is a very good friend, also my campaign treasurer, but she takes over the show when I am otherwise occupied in the campaign, but I am a talk show host as well. And small business, I've done that too for several years, and the radio show is a part of that. And an author. So I've had a very, very varied background, and just interested in really putting all of that into work for the citizens of the city.
When Master Betty comes, we get cool.
Do you?
Very cool. Master Betty's a trip. We like her. All right.
I like her too.
Let's see. Where should we start? We said, oh, by the way, you just say you were commissioner, you ran for mayor twice.
I was commissioner, ran for mayor twice,
and I did
retired
what you
city clerk.
accomplished as a commissioner?
Oh yes, I can give you, because you know I had someone ask me, what all did you do as a commissioner? There was a lot that I did. Now let me just go through just a few of those things.
What years would this be?
This would be 2003 to 2005. And we were still having 2-year terms at the time. This was before we went into 4-year terms. So in those 2 years, and let me just rattle off some things, because I accomplished some things and putting some things in place, but also stopped some things from happening as well. There is a traffic light that is at the intersection of ISB and when you leave Municipal Stadium, LPGA and ISB. I was successful in getting that traffic light put in place. And that area needed a traffic light because of the hazards and people trying to get out in traffic, and the prospect of there being really some bad accidents. So when I served on the Transportation Commission representing the city, I pushed for that, and I was told it will never happen, you know, and in truth, we were able to get that traffic light put in there in record time, less than 30 days, and you know, having been with the county council, that is record time. Also, after, and I'll say this for after getting off the commission, there's a traffic light at Dunn and Williamson They used to call it the traffic light to nowhere until they put the overpass there. That's something I fought for as I continued to fight for after I went off the commission. There is a speed bump that's in between, it's on Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune, and it's in between the buildings at Bethune-Cookman University. I was instrumental in getting that put in place. There's about 4 or 5 of them there. Yeah. Well, the one that, it's the main one, there are several that go along the way, yes. I was instrumental in getting that put in by the city because the president at the time, President Reed, said we need something kind of slow down the traffic. She was told initially it couldn't happen, it couldn't be done. I got with the city manager, public works director, and we got that put in as well. There are lights that are, 2 lights that are at Bevel Road and the East Gate to Pelican Bay. That area is so dark, we really need a traffic light, and it looks like we're going to eventually get one in that because I've been pushing for that as well. But we were able to get the 2 lights that are there that light up that area because when nighttime came, they had car accidents. People couldn't even see each other. They couldn't see what was going on. I found that to be very dangerous, so we were able to get that done as well. During the time that I was on the commission, we had the grand opening for the Midtown Educational and Cultural Center today. But when I was on the commission, during one of our strategic planning sessions, the city manager said, well, we're going to put the new police station there. And I said, excuse me, but have you talked to the people in the area to see what they want? The comment was, I'm sure he's going to do that, blah, 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 you know. You don't even have to bring that up. Well, they kept talking about the police station going there, the police station going there. I don't know if you remember the controversy on that, but I mentioned it at a meeting at the NAACP, and Cynthia Slater and others got very revved up and upset, and as a result, we got a lot of publicity from the residents in the area, and they came out doing public hearings and talked about the fact that, hey, we don't want a police station there. We want to keep our center in place. And as a result of that, we were able to have what we had today, the grand opening of the new center. There were also opportunities throughout the city, some other things that were put into place. In fact, let me go to some of those things just to mention, because we all know, Big, do you remember when they were trying to have about 8 to 10 different sports facilities in the area? Yeah. One of the things that I had them do was to slow down the process. We were rushing to the point of where we were going to accept all of that, put that on the taxpayers' backs. And I said, wait a minute, why are we rushing? What's with the rush? Let's slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. Even though there are some people who say, oh, we should have had this or that. If we had those things in place now, that would be another additional financial burden that this city, the taxpayers, would have had on their backs and their shoulders to take care of. So we did. We slowed down the process, and we got to the point where we really and truly did not accept what was happening in terms of all of those added facilities, because the way it was presented, it was the city being responsible for building buildings, the city being responsible for maintaining those buildings, the city being responsible for ensuring that there was a sufficient number of people who were coming to really be able to make the money necessary, and that just did not seem right. It was not right. It was not fair. We also had a flooding issue in the Indigo area where the people who lived in that area were being told that they were responsible for that, and it was about a $10,000 water bill because of flooding that happened from something that happened under the street. I got with our staff and worked with them on that, such that the city actually took over that responsibility so that they did not have to. In Yorktown, there was an issue with a county storage pond, water storage pond, that was overflowing into the backyards of some of the individuals who lived in that area. And it was to the point where snakes and everything else was coming right up to their back doors. I worked with the county such that we were able to get that storage pond drained down to such a point that it did not come to their doors, and also a barrier was installed such that they did not have to have that kind of worry and that kind of an issue again. There are, I don't know if you're aware of the overpass that was planned, Big John. right in front of, on International Speedway Boulevard, right in front of Mayoral High School. That $50 million plus investment.
Well, that was the roadway.
It was going to be an overpass,
Yeah,
an overpass,
right.
and there was an overpass plan also